Bass.
Here we go.
Episode 25.
We a quarter of a century old.
The only take. Action. The rule is back. The rule is back. Shout out to Jigga Man and Slick Rick, because he really got that from Slick Rick. But yeah, the rule is back, man. The ruler of all podcasts. The rulers. Sorry, that felt very singular. And there's two of us.
Hey, y'all.
Excuse me for ignoring the plurality there.
Because I could dip. You could do this by yourself.
The rulers are back.
Now you want to be inclusive.
Yeah, we
That's
back,
not
y'all.
even the right trumpet stuff you're doing.
First of all, I played trumpet.
I played trumpet before
didn't.
you.
Not as long as me, though.
You have no idea how long I played it.
How long you played trumpet? For like third grade or something like that? Oh, she tight? Because I'm probably right. Oh, she's mad tight right now.
I look good today. Okay.
So yeah. First things first. This episode is brought to you by freethesoulsclothing.com.
Already know the vibes.
You know the vibes. Link in the description of this video. freethesoulsclothing.com. We have a warehouse sale going on right now. A lot of things on sale. And you could get this fire cap as the summer and spring and the weather nicens. It's not a word, but I'm going to use it.
I like it.
The weather
it might be
nicens up.
Nicens up.
Right.
Water up.
You might want these nice caps. They come in 3 different colorways. Free indeed. Get yours.
That is not part of the warehouse sale, but
It's still
buy it.
It's for a good price, so still get
It
it.
is.
freethesoulsclothing.com. My sponsor. What we scoffing about today?
You done shouting out?
Yeah, unless you want to just give a shout out. We can definitely shout out like
For His Glory Clothing. They're black owned, Christian faith-based apparel.
Facts.
That's not the number 4, not FOR, but IV For His Glory. Follow them on Instagram and shop their very affordable website for some encouragement.
Very affordable and high quality and powerful and impactful messages. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we scoffing about today.
Dang, I forgot
This
to
is
look
episode
it up.
25.
Oh,
Boost 5.
I forgot how to look. I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot how to look up how to say the episode in Spanish. I was caught up doing some other stuff.
Thank God.
Anyway, today we're scoffing about falling out of love.
Talk about it.
Falling out of love.
Talk about it.
So I recently read an article, the New York Times, about scientists exploring the ideas of people making a conscious, intentional decision to fall out of love.
Is that possible? Well, he didn't do this when he was like questioning something. He was just like,
But why I can't do it? Like what?
You could. Shout out to Dr. Evil though.
So, the article kind of opens up with an anecdote about a couple who had been married for, I believe, 11 years. And the wife just told her husband one day that she had fallen out of love with him.
She was cheating, probably.
You don't know that.
She probably had somebody that was making her feel good at the moment. And she was like, this is my exit.
I just wanted to, open up the episode and you,
Because that sounds shady. Just up and leave after 11 years. Nah, I ain't with that. Go ahead. That ain't my wife.
So, the husband, who happened to be a marriage therapist,
Dang.
he decides to, I guess, find help and figure out a way to cope with his wife leaving him. But in studying the effects that breakups have on the brain throughout the article, they gave information about studying the effects that falling out of love and
Word
breakups.
tripping again.
I am, y'all. I'm sorry. These last couple episodes, I've been. So the article goes on to discuss some doctors that study the effects that breakups have on the brain, and one biological anthropologist, had to say it right, a biological anthropologist named Dr. Helen Fisher discovered that being in love is not really an emotion, it's a drive. So much like trying to convince yourself that you're not thirsty, that's as hard as it would be for you to fall out of love. Another doctor kind of cross-referenced Dr. Fisher's work and found that falling out of love, or trying to fall out of love, is trying to treat an addiction of any kind, be it, a food addiction or narcotics, anything like that. So, it's crazy, right? All this time we think that love is an emotion, or some may still believe so. The article does go on also to have some other doctors who disagree with her take. But considering your background in psychology, I just kind of want to pick your brain a little bit and see what you think about falling out of love.
You're asking me, can people fall out of love?
Can they? What do you think? Do you agree that, from your experience, from your studies, life experience, and academic experience, do you think that people can make a decision to fall out of love?
Oh, okay, that's a very different question. Can people fall out of love? Yes, I think so. First of all, you asked me like I was Dr. Phil or something.
Dr.
I ain't
Phil
no
is
specialist and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So let me be clear about that. But I know a little something. I think people can fall out of love. I think to make an active decision to want to fall out of love means you probably already out of love. I think if you want to actively push yourself to not be in love, then you're already in the process of disconnecting yourself from the emotional connection of that person. And I think if you're deciding that I don't want to be in love with this person anymore, you're kind of on that path. Maybe you still have like heavy and deep love for them, but a forceful, I don't want to be here and I'm going to not feel this way about this person means you're probably already on that path. And you probably just need to do some more like self-cleaning and getting out of your system. I would say though, like being in love, I think we discussed this in a previous episode, how much vulnerability love necessitates.
Right.
Like love requires vulnerability. And I think being in love creates a vulnerability that then fosters into dependence. Mm-hmm. And that dependence doesn't have to be unhealthy. It just means like, if I have an 8:00 class, because of the way our household is ran, I expect you, or I depend on you to get breakfast for the girls because I'm already heading out the door. Does that make sense? So it's like you start to create a world around leaning and depending on this person for certain things. So I could imagine the difficulty of falling out of love because it's almost like a part of your ecosystem is being pulled away from the cipher, right? It's like that cycle is getting like broken because like, whoa. And yeah, maybe day-to-day things, but those day-to-day things create appreciation that deepens and steeps the love in, a little more love. So, I don't know if I'm answering your question directly, but it's like a twofold answer. It's like yes, you can fall out of love. I don't know if I subscribe to the idea that if you're forcing yourself to not be in love with someone, that you're actually even still in love. I think you may not be, which is why you're trying to get yourself out of that situation.
I don't know. What if, you love someone, you're in love with them, you imagine spending the rest of your life with them, but they're just like toxic and you love yourself more than the way that you're being treated. So it's not that you're necessarily on the path. It's just like you love yourself more than what the relationship has to offer you.
I feel like I'm being interrogated, but
no.
no. I think that's a good challenge. This is me. I would say this. If you are with someone that you start to feel like is so toxic that you love yourself more, once again, I'm characterizing being in love a lot differently and a lot more euphoric and peacefully than some people's situations. But for me, I don't think you're in love. You might be comfortable, but you're not in love. Being in love makes me die to my own needs for the sake of serving yours.
Right.
And I trust wholeheartedly that you're doing the same for me. And that's how we create that level of power between us, that self-sacrificing, that uplifting, empowering type of relationship and dynamic. If that's not happening for you, I think you're comfortable. I don't think you're in love. Like, if you have to say this person is toxic for me and I love me more, I don't know that you're in love. And I need to like qualify this by saying maybe my situation's different. But to me, that's not being in love. Now, let me say this. It is possible that you fell in love with a person that was not toxic.
Right.
And over time, that person shifts or changes or, starts cheating on you or something on the low. So their personalities start getting different. I don't think you're in love with that person. You're in love with who you fell in love with, who you fell in love with. But if that person becomes toxic, you're not in love with that person. And maybe I need to distinguish that, because I know people are probably like in the comments like, no, I've been in love and he did me wrong and I still loved him. Let me clarify this. You were in love with the person that didn't do those things. Yeah. And once they did those things, you saw a different side of them that I don't think you're actually in love with.
That makes sense, because I can't imagine someone, I'm not saying that it is impossible, but I can't imagine someone staying with someone long enough who at the beginning is mistreating you. If at the beginning you're cheating and at the beginning you're mean and distant or toxic or whatever, I can't imagine someone like making a decision to stay and just kind of seeing how it turns out.
Yeah, like you fell in love for a reason.
Yeah, right? Not because they cheated on you. I didn't fall in love with you for cheating on me. I fell in love with you for treating me with some kind of humanity. and
put it like this, that's my assumption.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's my assumption is you fell in love because this person was caring for you in a way that drew you in and made you feel like you could see yourself spending your life with that person. Now, if by your own history of, poor parental relationships or poor models of healthy relationships, you accepted something suboptimal at the start of a relationship, hey, that's you and that's different. But I personally can't imagine at the start you fell in love with someone that was just always treating you bad.
Yeah.
Now, that does beg the question, though, and maybe I can pose this to you, see, your take on this. That does beg the question, though, like, when you do fall in love, right, and then a person does reveal a way of themselves or a part of themselves that you're not used to and that is toxic for your well-being, your sanity, does it mean you were never in love if that's what it takes for you to walk away? What do you think? Like, was the love like kind of like of a facade, or was it real? And then like how do you feel about that? If that question is clear.
Just to reiterate, to make sure I'm hearing you right. Was the love real if... Say it again. Just say it again.
Essentially, like, I'm kind of building off of what you talked about. You talked about, like, someone could have been in love and then just the person became toxic. So they said, I have to choose me over this person. Right? Was it ever really being in love, in your opinion, if someone changing or acting out differently causes you to walk away?
I think it's circumstantial.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's different. Like, I don't think anyone should stay somewhere where they are being mistreated or they don't feel valued or respected. But I do think, everybody's relationship is different. At the foundation, I think there are a lot of core values are the same among couples, like loyalty, respect, things like that. But relationships are different, so it's kind of hard to answer that question for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just a quick little nugget. Don't stay with someone who's like making you feel undervalued, underappreciated, disrespected, making you question your value or what you have to offer.
Gaslighty type of person.
Yeah, just don't stay to see if things get better, because you may end up just making excuses for them, and we don't want anything to turn dangerous or toxic.
I mean, it's not that easy though. I think
No,
sometimes
I'm not saying it
depending
is, but
yeah, like depending on how deep into the relationship you were before this person started showing another side of themselves.
yeah, it can be tough.
Like right, you got to have like a real system that you can depend on. Like, do you have the money to pay for a hotel for you and your child for the next 30 days while you find somewhere safe to live? Or do you have the resources that are, you know, disconnected from this person where they can't shut your accounts down and stuff like that? Like, there's just like little things that do have to be in place, and it's not as easy, which is why a lot of people who get mistreated stay, because walking away also means, dang, I'm taking this away from my child, or this level of comfort away from, you know, my family. I would also say that I think sometimes you might have been in love and you stay with hopes that you're gonna, it's almost like people that get high, right? How they say how it's never like you're always chasing the high. It's never like the first hit.
Yeah.
Right? Like whatever, you know, hard drug you've ever done, it's nothing like that first hit, right? And I think sometimes you do the same thing with love. You start trying to chase what a person was when they got you hooked.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was never them, but they did that because they wanted something out of you.
Yeah, to get the fish on the hook kind of thing.
Yeah, so they remained a certain way to get you, and you fell in love with the idea of a person, but that person wasn't really that person sometimes. Yeah. And of course, it gets a lot more nuanced and complicated than that, and relationships are sticky and messy and all that other stuff. But I do believe sometimes people stay because we're trying to like get back to how they used to make me feel. Oh man, remember when you used to? Remember when I used to get butterflies? Remember when you used to?
How come you don't?
How come you don't? Right? So then they're like trying to make this person what they once was when like they first fell in love. And I think I don't want the misconception with this episode to only be you fall out of love just because like someone is toxic or has done something wrong. Right? Life changes. So I think the real thing, especially for couples that want to make it last, that you really got to ask is, I may not feel the same butterflies I felt when I was a 16-year-old, like, oh my gosh, this girl actually likes me. I think she's so beautiful. I never thought I could have somebody that looks like her, right? And it's like, oh, I flutter when I see her walk down the hall. You've seen ugly sides of me. I've seen ugly sides of you. So maybe I don't get that level of butterflies. But what are we doing to, and I guess this kind of feels like I'm starting to like trace back to a couple episodes ago, like a few episodes ago about like making it last, right? But as you evolve, how are you remaining or deepening that love? You know what I'm saying? I think that's an important thing. I don't want to take us too far, of course, and go like back to the old episode, but that's an important thing here because I think sometimes people feel like they fall out of love because they're bored.
They're not putting in the work to kind of sustain it through life's changes.
Exactly.
Like you're gonna grow. You're gonna be different in 5 years, next year even. So you have to be intentional about what you're gonna do to sustain your relationship, because it's not always gonna be rainbows and butterflies. It's gonna be storms. And how do you deal with the storms? And how do you continue to show appreciation? And how do you continue to just sustain your marriage or relationship of any kind?
I think there's like, we evolve, and I stopped liking the same things. I stopped being interested in the same things sometimes. So it's like, all right, is that going to make you bored that I don't like surfing anymore? Will I continue to surf just because I don't like it and suppress my feelings? So now I start getting disconnected from you because I feel resentment? Or, you know, will you understand I don't like that no more and we find new things to do? Or you continue to surf on your own and, hey, I find a new hobby or something like that. You know what I mean? So
I don't surf, by the way. I will never surf.
Why you say you would never surf?
Yeah, that's too dangerous for me. I'm not really.
Millions of people a year survive surfing.
God bless them.
So it's not that dangerous. Just got to know how to swim.
Nope.
And figure the rest out.
Let's take it back though. Let's veer back into the episode.
Let's do it.
So I do want to pose another question to you. I feel like I have to sneeze. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's reel it in. Okay. No, I'm reeling it in. So,
I was trying to get you to get it out.
So much like trying to convince ourselves that we're not thirsty, right? If falling out of love is, or being in love rather, is a drive rather than an emotion. So if trying to convince ourselves that we're not thirsty is paralleled to actively trying to fall out of love, do we think that attempt, if you were to leave me and I was to try to fall out of love with you, do you think that my attempts would be like a survival tactic? Because, broken heart syndrome is a real, like, medical thing where you have your heart broken and you can literally die from a broken heart. Because when you experience some kind of traumatic, really intense heartbreak, your heartstrings literally, they weaken. They weaken, and it causes our hearts to beat regularly and ineffectively pump blood throughout our bodies, which, after a while, if your body's not getting blood, of course, you'll die. And then also, metaphorically, to maintain, like, your mental well-being. So do you think that trying to actively fall out of love is a subconscious survival tactic?
I think it depends. Like you said, if your heart has been broken, right? And I think if someone's like repetitively like hurting or damaging you, but you still have these strong connections to what y'all once were, then yeah, you got to take care of yourself, right? Like you kind of got to take care of yourself. But I think if you're actively trying to not be in love because you just want it out and you just trying to get into something new, I don't think you need to be trying to survive. You're trying to get out of that situation. So you just need to actually, I think my recommendation is embrace or lean into why you don't want to be there and see if that's something mendable, but that just hasn't been discussed. Because sometimes there are issues in our relationships that fester up within us for years, but go under discussed with our partner. So now if it's festering in us, it literally is a harvest. It's grown. It's a full blown tree. But for our partner, they hear it and it's like, whoa, this is just a seed.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So now like you're trying to match this full blown harvest of trees to this seed that your partner is just receiving. It's like, why aren't you ready to have this conversation? It's like, you've been having this conversation internally for mad long. I'm just hearing this. So now if something is over communicated internally, but under communicated externally, it's unfair to the partner to be rushed to understand every conversation you've been having, sorting this through in your head.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's not right. So now you have to help work them through why you're feeling what you're feeling, how long you've been feeling what you're feeling, and what can we do about why you're feeling this way. And if you're willing to explain that to them, apologize for not communicating that to them, then I think there's a chance. But I think if you're trying to get out just because you bored or something like that, like, I don't want this no more. Or here is another big one. Because of a lack of healthy relationships that have lasted throughout your life, when something starts going too well and you feel too vulnerable, your choice is to flee. I don't want to keep falling. Because I've seen my mom get hurt, or I've seen my grandfather get hurt, or I've seen my cousin get her heart broken, and she told me what it's like to be in love. So now if somebody sounds like they're too good,
you try to get out
before it's too late. You try to get out. So I think to ask if it's a defense mechanism, I think in some cases. In other cases, I think it's just an under-communicated issue that has been festering in you that needs to be communicated with your partner.
Yeah, I think at the root of it, that's really what it is, communication. Yeah. And I think it can be like a little scary or intimidating to go to your partner and say, hey, you're not providing X, Y, and Z for me anymore, and I need you to step up in this area. And that's why communication is so key, because the heartbreak could be avoided, potentially. If you just state your needs or address what you're feeling.
Right.
Really.
Or explore why you're right. You
Yeah.
explore why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And I think I would close with this in terms of, like, I don't have a concrete, resolute answer of, can people fall out of love? Is it scientific?
Yeah, right.
Is it emotional? Hey, they're the specialists are doing their studies and stuff like that. As we do more digging, then, we'll give more information. But here's what I would say. I would say, if you are feeling like you got to get out, and now I'm just talking if this is not like, oh, somebody's being like toxic or terrible to you, but you just don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I think you got to weigh two things. What made you fall in love?
Yeah.
And on the other side of the scale, what was a non-negotiable that's making you want to leave? What non-negotiable is being violated in your personal morale, your personal, like, tenets of like what you believe? You know what I'm saying? And comparing those things.
Yeah.
If what made you fall in love is still present and it's strong enough to say, I can spend the rest of my life with this, then you got to ask yourself, okay, well, the non-negotiable, the things that I thought I'd never, like, lower my guards down, was that just like a value somebody like instilled in me, or is this something that I personally believe that I'm not accepting this in a relationship, right? You got to weigh those things, that tension, that rub against each other. And when you weigh them, you got to determine if what made you fall in love is still active enough and strong enough to say, in spite of their flaws, because everybody got flaws.
Yeah, the reality is
everybody got flaws.
No matter who you with.
it's about what you're willing to deal with. If this person's flaw violates a non-negotiable of mine, then no, that's not the person for you, right? But if this person's flaw is something that, like, I can say the things that I love about them strongly overpower what their weakness is,
right,
then hey, you weigh those things against each other and you make your decision, because it's hard to find good love in 2022. So when you find it, man, you hold on to that thing.
Work through it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's just
this was just, I don't know if we have like a wrap it up point, but just something to think about, like the work that you're willing to put into your relationship for it to continue through life changes, being vocal and communicative to make sure that when life changes, not if, because it's going to happen if you're with someone for, a lengthy amount of time. When life changes, making sure that you continually communicate your needs, so that your partner can continue to show up for you. And don't wait till it's too late, because it's if you're with someone who the feeling is mutual, you guys are both in love, it's unfair to just spring up, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, once those feelings arise, try to let them know, like, hey, you're not showing up for me in this area. I really need you here. Try to do what you can to save your relationship before it's too late, and then your partner is caught off guard and they're thinking y'all are good, and it's just like, what? You know what I mean? So.
And I would close with this. I would say, I also think what's imperative is it's good to explore these feelings, especially when you've been in a serious relationship and you've, like, gotten out of it, knowing and that awareness of what you felt when you were in love and, what made you fall out of love. Having that awareness before you get into something else serious saves you a lot of time. Saves you and your partner a lot of headache. It saves you and your future spouse a lot of, like, just unfortunate heartbreaks, because you can say, hey, listen, this is what I dealt with. This is what made me fall out of love with this person. Or this is what I dealt with. This is what made me fall in love with this person. That stopped happening. And it was something that was valuable to me. It was something that was important. And when you have that awareness, it kind of help save you some time.
Yeah,
I think, especially in this young adult kind of like era that you're in. And don't get it twisted. Hey, I know people that got married in their 70s. I know people that got married or found love very late in life. So I'm not putting you on no timeline. I'm just saying a lot of times we can save ourselves some time by being aware of what were some of our non-negotiables, what continues to stand, and what made us fall in love with previous people that we anticipate or expect from newfound love. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know what we about to get into, though. Gang, gang, gang. That, this, or that.
What is it? Oh,
sorry.
No, I knew. I'm joking. Y'all know how we do.
Let's get it.
That's the one you taking?
It don't matter. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Which one? You going first? Who went first last time?
I don't know. Let's just get into it.
Oh, last time was Father's Day episode, so you answered all the questions. I asked all the questions.
Yep.
So you go first.
That's how it went.
You go first.
All right, let's go. Would you rather stay the age that we were when we fell in love forever? You got to stay that age forever.
Okay. I don't even know how old we were. How old were we?
Like Benjamin Button. Wait, Benjamin Button, he went from...
He was born an old wrinkly man. Old wrinkly baby Button.
Okay. Got it.
How you be fit? I don't understand. Oh, forget it.
Ready, set, Benjamin Button, baby.
What? You want to be a little baby-faced old man? That's weird and creepy.
You don't think it's creepy to be 15 for the rest of your life? Like, bruh, what? At least my life is like moving. It's like advancing. I
don't know, bro.
You're going to stay 15 for the rest of your life. How?
I don't know.
We definitely wouldn't be together. That fall in love. Think I'm staying with some 15-year-old girl while I'm aging? It's weird.
We can't pick like one of us stay the age and one of us is Benjamin Button.
Oh, you didn't say that. I thought it's my life choice, my course.
No, either we both this or we both that. Like, not pick and choose.
Would be miserable being 15 forever. It's like after a while that like fades. That high school fun fades. You know what I'm saying? A little bit.
Look at that guy. Oh.
You're right now.
Excuse me, y'all.
No, I got you.
I'm good?
Yeah, for
Look
sure.
at me. I'm good?
A little snotty.
I'm good. I told y'all I had to sneeze. It wasn't coming out.
Yeah, you gotta get your black seed oil when you
I
talk.
took it this morning. And my omega-3s. My vitamin B, my vitamin C, my vitamin D.
Right.
I took my chelate iron.
They asked what was in your vitamin regimen.
I took
I'm
all
just
my
telling
stuff.
you.
Excuse me, y'all.
It's probably the
Excuse
weather
me.
changes, allergies.
Yeah. Yo, today was rough for me.
It's all good. Let's get it. Number 2.
That's me. Would you rather be in love with someone from a different race or be in love with someone from a different religion?
Whoa.
Different race or different religion? Make it last forever. What you said?
So, race.
Different race.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
easy.
easy.
Just because like your religion informs so much of how you live your life. Yeah. And I'm not about
I know
to
there's people out there doing it, so no shade. But
yeah. It's just
I know thriving interracial couples, so I think we can make it work. Long as I said this in the Jungle Fever episode, long as they understand the dynamics of what comes with
being with someone.
With me being a black man, and like you understand my traumas, my histories and stuff like that.
Facts.
You're an ally and an accomplice in the strive for black liberation.
An accomplice?
And an accomplice.
And an accomplice.
Yeah,
you just kind of...
A lot of alliteration, that's what it was. Okay. And an accomplice.
All right, last one.
All right, last one. Let's get to it. Number 3. Would you rather have a messed up childhood, but eventually find the love of your life and be happily married?
Okay.
Or have an amazing, healthy childhood, but never find someone to be in love with?
Okay. This is sad. Cause like, what's messed up?
Like you've endured like a lot of like things kids endure.
Cause it's
like
stuff.
Abuse.
Like it's a lot. Like messed up childhood could be like molestation, death of a parent, foster. Like it could be.
Like you were just like mistreated in whatever the worst way you can think about. Boom.
It's just oh my gosh, messed up childhood.
Amazing childhood.
And never meet me. Well, not. But you didn't have a bad childhood. This is hard.
I think I'd rather have. Here's my thing.
Because
can I tell you why? My justification. Having an amazing childhood, right, and never find someone to fall in love with, doesn't change that being reared in a healthy environment and raised the right way will still help me to lead a thriving life, right? Like the end all be all of life is not to find a spouse.
I agree, right?
Right? But to have like a messed up childhood where like a lot of avoidable abuses or molestations and things like that happened to me, right? But I still find the love of my life. But it doesn't mean that the other things that affect broken pasts are going to be like healthy in my life. So it doesn't mean I'm going to be like be good with money. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a good communicator. It doesn't mean I'm going to be, you know, a healthy parent. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Whereas
it doesn't mean that you're not. Like, if you find the right resources to help you, like therapy to get through, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if I go through a series of traumatic events,
I wholeheartedly agree with
and I find like the right therapist or counseling or just resources to help me get through those things, I feel like I can, you know, find a partner who's willing to potentially help me continue to overcome those.
I agree with you. I don't disagree with that, but I was just looking at it at face value. I didn't know we could like do all those other things. Like, I just thought it's like what you are is what you are because of your childhood, and what you are is what you are because of the healthy childhood. So,
okay, well, that's a wrap, folks. No, I'm not doing it right. I was trying to do a Porky Pig. That's all, my vocal was in the wrong spot.
Here you go, lips tripping again. Yo, y'all know what to do. Anything algorithm boosting.
Boost the algae.
Anything algorithm boosting.
Boost the
do
algae.
It for us. Like, share.
Don't do it for the Vine.
Comment.
Do it for dysfunctional
save,
family.
Repost, tweet.
Because we cute. Like,
retweet,
we cute.
Share to your stories. Subscribe. Download. I mean, like, anything you can do that is algorithm boosting. Do it for us.
Do it for the Vine.
Nobody does it for the Vine since
Is
2010.
Vine still around?
No, they got bought out by Snapchat, I think.
Elon Musk?
No.
What?
He doesn't own Snapchat. Wait, does he? He probably owns
He just bought Twitter, so I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. We love y'all.
Yeah, we
See
out,
you.
man.
Okay. Next time.
Yeah.